Hi everyone, welcome back to a new post today. Today let's look at the most important topic that you need to keep track for October 17th. And today I'm going to speak about the Pact of the Future. This is one of the documents that was adopted at the Summit of the Future held in New York in September 23rd and 24th at the United Nations headquarters. So this Pact of the Future is a very important document, especially with regard to the culmination of the Summit of the Future, and it is a document that enforces the responsibility towards protecting the future generation. Now, there are two features of this Pact of the Future. It involves another important document called as the Global Digital Compact and also a declaration for future generations. Let's look into the highlights of the Pact of the Future and let's see what exactly does this Pact of the Future contain. So it's the most wide-ranging United Nations agreement that has been adopted in many years to come and enforces the credibility of the United Nations as an international organization. It speaks on various issues. Number one, sustainable development and financing. So it accelerates the commitment to implement the 2030 agenda with regard to the sustainable development goals, financing for sustainable development goals, and also closing the sustainable development goals financing gap. It also speaks about climate change and also to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. It also calls for accelerated efforts towards the environment, including promoting sustainable consumption and production as well. Number two, it speaks about international peace and security. It calls the global leaders for the need for a whole of the society sustainable peace. It speaks about protecting the civilians in armed conflicts by complying with the laws of war. It also pledges to refrain from the use of explosive weapons in populated areas, keeping in mind the Israeli-Palestinian issue, Russia-Ukraine issue, and now the Israel-Iran issue as well. It agrees to scale up humanitarian assistance and increase the use of innovation and anticipatory financing mechanisms, and also calls for implementing the commitments towards women, peace, security, youth peace and security. It calls for to deal with emerging challenges and promotes counter-terrorism efforts. It also calls for the need to prevent and combat transorganized crime. It speaks about the first recommitment to nuclear disarmament in nearly 15 years and also total elimination of nuclear weapons. It also advances a step towards weaponizing of the emerging domains and technologies, preventing an arms race in the outer space, discussions to govern the use and development of lethal autonomous weapons system, assessment of military applications of AI or artificial intelligence. Number three, science, technology and innovation. The pact introduces measures to reduce global disparities in science, technology, innovation. Their leaders have committed to increase in use of science and policy making to address complex challenges and more funding for sustainable development goals. Number four, it speaks about youth. It aims at expanding the youth participation in global decision making, including the United Nations Intergovernmental Organization, strengthening the youth participation at the national level through establishment of consultative mechanisms. Number five, transforming global governance, speaks of multilateral system, making it more effective, including ambitious and concrete progress on the Security Council reform since 1963. It speaks for achievement of gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls, and also revitalization of the Commission on the Status of Women. It speaks to ensure enjoyment of all human rights, including the UN Human Rights Mechanism. It speaks for sustainable funding for the UN Resident Coordinator System. It speaks of deepening partnership between the United Nations and other stakeholders, including the civil society, private sector, regional organization. It is also the most detailed agreement ever at the United Nations to reform the international financial architecture as well. And it goes on to say that governing outer space, it includes an agreement to existing international framework, including ensuring all countries can benefit from safe and sustainable exploration use often with non-state actors. The pact calls for improved international response to complex global stocks. Number six, it deals with Global Digital Compact. The Global Digital Compact is a part of the Pact of Future. It is the first comprehensive global framework for digital cooperation among the countries. It explicitly includes human rights and concrete commitments to accelerate the progress on the 2030 agenda and put emphasis on the role of the non-state stakeholders. It makes the first global commitment to digital public goods, digital public infrastructure, to open source data models and standards, and data governance. The compact includes an agreement on the roadmap for global AI governance through establishment of AI scientific panel, global policy dialogue on AI, and exploration of establishment of global fund for AI capacity building. And the last one is Declaration on the Future Generations. The leaders agreed for the first ever declaration on the future generations, recognizing our obligations and putting in place steps to systematically take future impact into account, consciously avoiding foreseeable harms and safeguarding the interests of the future generation. It puts forward concrete proposals and processes to help the member nations to consider a better future for the coming generations. So these are the most important points that are included in the framework of the Pact of Future. Definitely it's a very important document because it's for the future generations and the first ever framework under the United Nations after many years. It's going to be an important topic definitely for the years to come, even for the civil services examination and TSPSC and APPSC as well. So it's important that you remember the components of the Pact of Future, including the global, the declaration on the futures, on the future generations, and also the global digital compact, which is a part of the future Pact of Future. So this is the most important topic that I thought I should be discussing with October 17th. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. I shall see you tomorrow in another more important post. Until then, it's very happy learning.